right, we are live. What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Transworld Motocross live stream. It is good to be back with everyone, and we have a lot to talk about. It was definitely quite the interesting weekend. Once again, we got Trey Starr here with me, giving us another perspective. His perspective being watching this one at TV with a lot of people, and I was on the floor. So it's interesting. I mean, definitely from my view down there, there was a lot going on, a lot of energy, but you also miss a lot down there. Um, but yeah, let's talk about it. Let's get right into it. Vegas. It was the last round of the SuperMotocross. It was the finals. Money on the line, triple points, a lot going into it. The Lawrence brothers were only 6 points, I think, apart. So that was a really tight race between the brothers. Winner take all situation. And then obviously Joe Shimoda came in with the points lead by, I believe, 10 points this weekend. And it lined up for a good show. I think everyone kind of knew in the back of their head how this might play out. And it did that and then some. But first off, yeah, Trey, how's it going, man? How are you doing? Uh-oh, I don't hear you right now. You might be muted.
Oh yeah, I
There
was
he
still
is.
muted.
There he
So
is.
I didn't interfere with the intro, but doing good. Definitely a very chaotic night of racing in Las Vegas. I mean, we expected such, especially in the 250 class, but it definitely made things interesting. After Charlotte, of course, we had that canceled moto. Then St. Louis, we have some of the chaos from the Deegan Kitchen takeout. Hunter Lawrence gets the win. We of course enter that. The beauty of the 3-round series is the fact that we get to enter things with championship fights everywhere across the board. It's not like anything's wrapped up. Everything's on the line. $1 million on the line for the 450 class, 500K for the 250 class guys. And man, it was very chaotic. It lived up to the hype. Some unfortunate injuries as well, which sucks, especially for Team USA. And I'm sure that'll be something we'll talk about later. But overall, a crazy weekend. And congratulations to Jet and to Joe for winning their championships.
And to HRC Honda for really bringing it home for the team. It's good to see the Hondas actually bringing home some hardware.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny because you think about how long they had the drought. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
250 class, Geico Honda had a ton of titles, but it was like 20 years between titles after Ricky left. And then, of course, Chase winning the 450 Supercross title was the first one in the Premier class they had in a long time. And now it seems like they're winning everything and they're winning constantly. And it's funny how things swing around, but Honda's been firing on all cylinders lately, and to sweep both playoff titles, the first time a team's done that because, of course, they've split it with Star the past couple years. Huge for them and huge morale booster for the team as well.
Yeah, that was really cool to see. But yeah, we'll jump right into the day. I mean, first off, the track. I think my first impression when I got there was it was cool. Again, I think I walked up to it and I said, "Hey, this does feel like a hybrid track, super motocross." There wasn't a lot of rhythms. I think there was only like one real rhythm lane. Some of them, like there was like the on off like in the middle of the track that nobody was on offing. They were just like using it to like jump in and out of the
Yeah.
corners and stuff. And then what was cool, we had elevation change, right? I was kind of talking about that last weekend about St. Louis and how it's in the dome, no elevation. That would make it, feel more like there's a mix
hmm
of outdoors. Well, this one we actually had elevation change both sides of the track, and it actually made it cool. Like they were doing some cool jumps too, like that jumping off the tunnel jump and jumping down the step down. That was huge. These guys make it look
It
easy.
looked cool too.
Yeah, they make it look easy. Like I'm looking at it, I'm like, you almost tell yourself like, oh, I could do that just because they make it look so easy. But then you're like, oh no, never mind. I don't know about that. There was like the other step down in the back too that looked to me was really intimidating. But they were just everyone was barely jumping over that thing, no problem, like just hopping off of it. And I was just like, okay, that one looks easy. But that tunnel jump was pretty big. And did you know, for those that don't know, they actually did change the track around a little bit. Like that was supposed to be originally that tunnel jump was supposed to be a split start. That was supposed to split the start. So that tunnel
Hmm.
jump was meant to be in the middle of the track, and they were supposed to jump down into the starting like line,
Mm.
like in the middle. So
That's some like old school Vegas Supercross stuff.
yeah, so I noticed that right away when we were looking at the track map compared to the track. I was like, oh, they changed that and they moved it just to the side. So the start went down, and then when they came back around, they just jumped they didn't even touch the start line again. They jumped parallel to it. They built a new line that kind of jumps and turns right. So they did that little change, and that was I mean, I thought it was fine. The track looked cool. The start was interesting. I had never seen anything like that. I called it the wave pool because when you were at the bottom, you looked up at it, it looked like you were looking into a wave pool because it was literally they had those big rollers coming out of it, and where we were standing to shoot, like for the start, were like the barrier, the tough blocks, and the corners right there. And usually we're not allowed to stand on the outside, but I think because those cement barriers are there, they were okay with us kind of standing there. But to me, it was still like I was a little nervous. I was like, man, these guys are gonna come flying over this wave pool thing, get this momentum, jump over it, and slam into the wall and flip over the wall. Like that's what I was scared of. But actually, it seems like it was fine. Didn't seem like an issue to anyone. It seemed like it made some good racing. What do you think of that start? That was interesting.
I think Ferrandis ended up being a victim of it in the 450 class later in the evening, but it was an interesting start. Definitely keeps things close together, and I feel like they were experimenting a little bit more on the starts this time for the playoffs because you look at the Charlotte one where you had the back-to-back starts, you have them go one way and then they converge in the middle, and then St. Louis was a pretty natural Supercross style start, and then with this, with the elevation changes, you kind of dip down. Definitely interesting to see them try a little bit different stuff because usually it's cookie cutter, you just go straight and then you turn, but it
Yeah.
was interesting to see. And I mean, as far as the start goes, of course, that was a very inconsequential part of most of the action. A lot of things happened after that, and it was a chaotic night of racing altogether. I think the track was solid, but it seems like on all of the circuits this year, not just Vegas or not just St. Louis, but Charlotte as well. I mean, it seemed like there were only a couple guys who could really work their way through the pack and make a bunch of passes and moves. And it seemed like, I mean, there were at least multiple lines you could take. You had some of the split lanes in Vegas to make things a little bit interesting, the inside outside on one of the back sections. But a lot of the tracks, it seemed like were really one lined and you couldn't make up a bunch of time unless you're like Jet Lawrence coming through the pack at St. Louis, or like Justin Cooper when he was down in the first turn and having to blitz through the field after he was down in the first corner at Charlotte.
Yeah, I think that it's a lot of people's impressions as well when they first look at the tracks is we're like, this doesn't look like a lot of passing opportunities. Kind of looks single lined. But at the same time, even saying that like last weekend too, I remember thinking like, well, tends to not really matter for the guys that are going to make the moves anyway. They seem to find them, and if anything, it kind of keeps it interesting because the way they do find them. I mean, like this Vegas track. I mean, Hayden obviously he's doing some pretty big jumps. So he jumps, kind of cuts the boundaries a little bit when he jumps like cuts it pretty close. So
Yeah,
sometimes he's jumping like right over those track markers, but the way
I
he
put a poll
finds
out there
the
for
way
that
he
second
finds the
moto.
lines, yeah, they put the poll out. The way he kind of finds those lines though is still pretty cool. Like to see that, hey, if I hit a single but I air it 20 feet extra, I can get that drive that I need and get on the inside. And I saw that a few times. There was a good pass I saw actually Sexton make on RJ as well in that back section. There was like the outdoor section is the one double. That section there was a few passes going on because people were just setting up that inside and just sending it really on the inside, like to land and just kind of you're holding that inside line all the way to the next corner to get over the box jump. So it's like a really long section right there. They're just trying to hold that inside, which is kind of cool. But yeah, overall, I think the track, I liked it. I think we got another year there next year. I think they are going to go back. Uh, we were laughing on press day because the jets fly over all day on press day, so everyone's distracted. All the photographer, like Trevor, and the
Yeah, there's an
photographer,
Air Force base like right
yeah,
outside of the NASCAR track. You could see
very
them take
active.
off all the time when they race there.
It's
So
loud, and they're flying over us. Like so, one of the photographers, Trevor, he was laughing. He goes, "Oh, my press day photos came out great," and there was like 100 pictures of jets. And I was like, "He's shooting the wrong jet there," but but yeah, it was good. So I think we just kind of start. Obviously we're gonna get into the juicy stuff, but there was some stuff that happened earlier in the day too. Qualifying, especially, we had some incidents. I know I didn't see Cole Davis crash. That one was. It hurt. I mean, I saw replays of it later. He landed on the hay bale. It looks pretty brutal. Um, one of those situations you see it, you're just like, dang. Hopefully he's okay. You don't really won't expect him to come back into the moto and race. It's hard to tell. But the one that I did see that was gnarly was
Very.
the Jordan Smith one, and that was heavy. I just walked up over there. It was Q1. I was only like halfway through it, and I just walked up that section. And I was like, I'm gonna get some shots here, and I shoot pretty much everyone, so I look for who's kind of on their fast lap to try to get some good shots. And then I see Jordan coming around, and he looked like he was going pretty quick. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna stick it to him. And he was like the first guy I shot up there, and right away I see him coming towards me, and he just goes swap, and then swap, and then by the second to third swap, I was like, okay, he might get this. But then after that one, it just started getting crazier and crazier, and then yeah, it was nuts. And
720 body vary was a bold strategy for Q1.
yeah, that was big slam, dude. Pops his shoulder out, pops it back in with the A Stars medical guys, and then mounts his bike and goes to the pits. And I'm like, okay, like he rode his bike, that's a good thing. But I was like, there's no way, like that's sketchy. I don't know what that means. When
Not only that, but you think about it, he was 6th overall. I mean, to go from literally just flying and barrel rolling through the air to finishing 6th overall is insane.
Let's watch it. I'm gonna pull
Jordan
up
is
this
tough
video
as
real
they
quick.
come.
We'll pull up the video real quick. So if you guys are just joining us, this is our new live stream show. We are basically, these first few SMX races, we're trying to get viewers. We're just trying to get you guys in here to chat with us. Obviously, you see we have an interactive chat as well, so we can see you guys' comments. We'd love to get that thing really busy one day. And then, yeah, we just want to talk. And when, like I said, it's a little different style. It's not just your regular podcast or a pre-recorded show or, radio show. This is a streaming style live show where we have the interactive background. We can watch videos. So that's like one of the things we're going to do right now. We're actually going to go back to the YouTube channel here of all the footage that I got over the weekend. This one, we'll get into this video because this is where things get pretty hairy. Like I said, I did not get Davies crash. That was still scary as well. I was you got these guys lining up next to each other all day, so that was funny. I did not get the interaction between them, but they were. You could see Hayden looking over at him, but. Let's see here. Let's get into this. We'll go fast forward a little bit. It's not. It's right here. This is pretty brutal. So, prepared. There he comes. Just let you guys watch it. Ooh. Really gnarly. Like, honestly, like I said, the first couple swaps, I'm like, he might be able to get this because we've seen people do this before, but you can tell it just starts getting bad. Like there, he's like, okay, you're good. There, it's like, oh no, that's bad. But then oh my God, right into the face, the perfect.
Yeah, you could tell that bike is just going to fly from that angle, and Jordan is just going to be pirouetting through the air.
That thing is fully preloaded right now, and then it's doink. he just jumped off so perfect. I couldn't believe he just bounced right up, walks over, and you'll see. I mean, his arm's dangling there. I was like, okay. I thought he broke his wrist at first, but then, dude, you can see it go in right there. Maybe I won't replay that one. You guys can go back and replay that one if you want, but you can totally see the bone pop back in.
Congratulations, you have a shoulder again.
And then I was like, so you okay?
I took it off over there. Yeah, don't take it off.
Jordan, you okay?
Yeah, I'm alright. It's okay, my shoulder.
Brutal, man. Yeah, gnarly. So he's like, yeah, I'm okay. Gets on his bike. That's it. And I was like, okay, there's that. So I thought he'd be done for the night, but then I saw him lining up right there, Q2, right back out there for qualifying, and Cole Davis. So that was surprising. I was like, dang, these guys are warriors. I mean, money's on the line.
Yeah.
Last race of the season. It's full send. You got to give it to Jordan. The dude is an animal. He takes the hits gnarly. Like that dude gets in wrecks, unfortunately, probably more than he would want to. I've seen the comments. People definitely, say things about him being a wrecking ball out there, or just having those the bad luck. But you gotta give it to him. I mean, dude's tough because if he can get up and go, he's gonna get up and go. So, shout out to Jordan for just having that dog in him and getting out there. Yes, I see your comment right here. Did Ryder DeFrancisco get knocked out? He did get knocked out. That was a very scary accident. I'm sure you guys saw it already. honestly, I think the video is like just terrifying. Like I didn't like that video at all. Like he gets hit in the head, boom, boom, and you almost body goes back to where it is, and then it just drops limp like that, passed out, and that was terrifying. I mean, from the angle, it just looks like his head's rolling off or something. So we were like, everyone was pretty scared. There was a lot of incidents this weekend that scared us like that Chase. I mean, Cole, Jordan, like all those. It was pretty scary for some of those people for sure. But that one with Ryder, that was kind of nasty. I don't know. Not a fan of that one. That was bad. But it was an accident. Obviously, if you can watch it, you can look. Not intentional. There's no way that was intentional. You could even see Hayden kind of pulling up, trying to avoid it in a way. But yeah, feel bad for him. Glad he's okay. I saw him right after the race celebrating with Joe, so he was feeling good. But it's still one of those things. You hit your head like that, you definitely want to make sure you're taking a little break. You know. Did you see that? You saw the replay. Yeah, they played that on the TV,
Oh
right?
yeah, I mean it's just kind of one of those things, one of those racing deals. I mean, you have Ryder just rolls over the single into the jumps, but he got so squirrely after that he couldn't get the power down and the traction to his rear wheel. Then all of a sudden Hayden's flying in, and then boom, he takes a Dunlop right to the dome. But I saw the picture of his helmet, and we don't have any sponsors here on Transworld Motocross. Please sponsor us. But Fly Racing, their helmet that Ryder was wearing did its job. Like there were scratches. Obviously, he takes tire to the head, and he took, I think, part of Hayden's frame hit him as well. But apart from some scratches, it didn't look like the helmet was super damaged. I didn't see any dents, any like cracks or chips in it. It looked like it really held up and did its job. And I know Fly Racing always like to promote themselves as one of the safest helmets on the market. And if you have a crash that's that heavy and you have a bike practically landing on somebody's head and all I saw were scratches from the picture, I mean that's a testament to how far the safety equipment in our sport has come. And I mean it was very scary because you see him get hit in the head and then he keeps going and then he gets like that fencing response and you just see the whiplash like he took an uppercut from Mike Tyson or something. The body just goes limp. He's like face down in the sand and thankfully just knocked out a little bit. He got up. They walked him off the track. Very scary incident for sure, though. And I instantly, when I saw it at first, I got Trey Kennard, Ryan Morris, Los Angeles 2012 flashbacks when Morris landed on Kennard's back. That was originally what I was thinking when I first saw it because you
Oh
just see
yeah,
Ryder, do you get the whiplash and just go sideways and you don't know what's wrong originally. But then he's like laying motionless and you're thinking, okay, he's knocked out. He's not like and then once he was walking off the track, you knew for sure, like, okay, no back injuries, no like risk of paralysis or anything
yeah.
terrible. I mean, it was a bad crash, but if all he has is a concussion from it, that's a miracle in itself. And like I said, it's a testament to how safe the helmets are for him to be able to get up just a couple minutes later. And of course, he had assistance, but to walk away, it's insane.
Yeah, that was. Man, I agree with you on that. That was just. It was scary. like there was a few incidents where like the industry and the media people, like all of us, when we react, usually we're not the we all react in our own ways, but typically it's the fans and everyone else reacting, and we're so used to being around a lot of it. It's not as big as reactions, but this one was like a pretty big reaction from everyone. Everyone was pretty concerned. I remember even the Jordan Smith video that I got, I posted on Instagram, and I mean it's already got over 1 million views. I think blew up, but he when I posted that, I remember being in the media tent, and you can hear pockets of people reacting to the video in different areas, like oh, when it was starting to go around. So, but yeah, like I said, everyone's just happy that they were okay. The only one we don't really know too much about is Chase, which he also pretty much kind of said he's okay. We'll get more into the Chase stuff and the 450 stuff a little bit later. Right now, it's just we'll focus on the 250s, but Moto One. Not too much happening there, right? We just
Apart from Ryder D and Hayden.
yeah. Well, that was Moto One.
Yep.
Yeah,
Joe was cruising out front after he got around Seth, and then
yeah,
of course Deegan charging through the pack, and unfortunately they came together. Deegan remounts in about fifth place or so, gets by Tom maybe, gets by Seth, and then of course starts reeling in Joe at the end of the moto, but he just didn't have enough time to make up all of the ground. for him to get back to second after that was impressive. Of course, he got up pretty quickly after the crash, but I mean that's got to do something to you mentally when you land on somebody. Obviously, not intentional, but
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you're thinking about winning and you're thinking about championship, but I can't speak from it because I've never competed at that level, but it's got to do something to your head when you're like, "Holy crap, I just hit a guy. I just landed on top of his head."
I honestly
It's got to throw
wonder.
you
I
off
honestly
somewhat.
wonder if that did go through his mind, not in like a bad way. Like I just think like in that moment, I mean, he didn't even look over at him. He just got up and went, and you can't be mad about that. Honestly, like that's his job. It's what he's there for. And it's
That's
champion.
probably the
It's
best thing
championship
in
day.
terms of
Yeah.
competition-wise, because if he'd have looked over, he'd have been like,
Oh, then you
"Holy
can get
crap,
in your
he's
own head
still
and
laying there."
yeah, then you can
Yeah.
get in your own head and actually have another accident. Like
Yeah, yeah.
honestly. So I saw some discourse on that, people upset. But it's like that's just. I mean, that is what it is. If this happened and they were both in the half at the end of the pack, then maybe there's some help there. Actually, I did get a video in Moto 1. I'm going to pull this up real quick because I did put it in there. A little later in the race, we had Drew Adams had a pretty nasty accident, actually. I don't think anyone even saw this, but I got it because it was right in front of me.
Yeah, I've not seen any footage of that crash, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so I
I
got
mean, I
it.
saw that he was out on the broadcast, but
I think it was
they
Moto
were, of course,
1.
focused on Deegan trying to come back and reel in Joe.
So it should be right here. So it's right after this. I pan over real quick to the last second of it. But you'll see, it's actually kind of scary. I almost didn't want to put this in because he's kind of screaming. Because he got stuck under the bike. And I think it was just burning him. I think it was cooking him. I saw his pant leg after this, and it was pretty melted. So let's see. So right behind him, right behind this, I think a pan over. Oh, yeah. And then he knew it was his fault. I think that was Schwartz, right?
Yeah.
So he's screaming right there.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he was stuck under the bike.
Great sportsmanship from Dylan.
Yeah, so Dylan did come back. So kind of talking like what we were just talking. You can't quite see it because it's so quick. Oh, I think we got an ad on here. I said you can't quite see it because it happens so quick. But yeah, Dylan comes over, jumps right into him. I saw it out of the corner of my eye before I saw it here. Dylan, you can't quite see it. It's kind of already happened. But Drew's coming on Drew's kind of squaring up the outside and getting ready to jump straight, and Dylan jumped straight into him. He really T-boned him bad. I don't think he did it on purpose because his reaction after was like, "Oh my God, what did I just do?" Because he saw what happened. So obviously, you can see Drew had no idea this was coming. And look at he just gets launched. But then the bike, I think he was good, but then the bike, and then he's freaking out, and then they get stuck, and I think he's just getting burned right here. Burn or something happening right there.
Yeah, because he trots off and he's like, I mean, obviously the way.
But he lines up too for the next one. He lines up for the next one. So yeah, it's it was gnarly. Like I said, it was kind of a gnarly one for these guys. There were some brutal moments in this race. I don't think anyone really saw that actually, though, what happened to Drew Adams. So there you have it. That's what happened to him right there in that first moto. Let's see here. I got another comment here. It says, in hindsight, the whole night would have gone so differently if Hayden didn't crash with Ryder. He definitely catches Joe. Maybe those Moto 2 shenanigans would start in Moto 1 instead. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of factors if you look into it. I mean, obviously you can go back to last week.
Good point there.
Yeah, there was I was listening to I think Track Talkers, but Deuce was talking about something about Moto 1, how there's some important things that probably could have happened differently. It could have changed the outcome of the next one. Kind of happened to the 450s as well, right? Tomac finishing between Jet and Hunter just made it a little bit harder for Hunter to get that win. Would have given it to him if he would have finished where he finished in the second moto? I wonder.
I'm trying to think and do the math here.
Dude, okay, so imagine being on the track trying to do the math.
If Hunter gets P2, if Hunter gets P2 that first moto, he wins the overall. He wins the championship because it was 6 points. It wasn't like Joe and Hayden, where Deegan would have had to have won and then had somebody like in between him and Joe. It was 6 between the brothers. So winner take all pretty much. And if Hunter gets second that first moto, of course he wins at the end of it.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so,
that
right?
that would have
So
been
it's the first
that would have
motos
been a
that seem
huge
to have
change.
really mattered a lot in these situations. Kind of interesting. But yeah, so Moto 1, I think that's really, yeah, that's all really happened there, right? We got, I mean, let's just get right down into it. Moto 2's where it gets kind of hairy.
Calamity corner
Yeah, we,
on every corner.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, let's be real. I mean, that was awesome in a way. Like, that was fun. That was tons of fun. Like, we were, again, when it comes to the reactions of the industry people and like the camera guys and everyone else, like, we were freaking out. Yeah, like everyone's got their jaws dropped to the floor, and I understand. Like, we all knew it was coming too. Like, we knew, like, okay, I'm like, in my head, I was saying, I was like, dude, the only way Hayden can win this is like to take Joe out or to slow, like, do exactly what he did. But I was thinking he would have to do it a lot worse. I was like, dude, you kind of have to really put him down, because you can put him down, he can get back up and still finish in second. So I think that's where a lot of the controversy comes into that. So let's get into that. But it starts even before the start. You know, like, these guys are on the gate chirping at each other. That was really funny. Seeing Joe's reaction, I missed that. It was actually really hard to get to the start on the gate to shoot the start. We were kind of stuck with the way we had to cross the track. But yeah, that was pretty funny when Joe said, "I don't speak English." That was great. I loved that. I thought that was so funny. And then they posted. Did you see the video?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that Fox posted it. That was pretty funny. I'll give him that. He's pretty. That dude's pretty funny, actually. Like, he's pretty witty for not having English as your first language, I guess. You know. But yeah. So first moto kicks off. It was nuts. I think there was a little bit of a contact even right off the gate after getting out of the gate.
Yeah, you pinched him off a little bit.
Yeah, a little pinch off. So but nothing too crazy.
And then the like first bowl corner, he runs him wide, but you can see Joe's like, oh, Hayden looks over and he's like, oh, that's Joe. And then you can see Joe like check up a little bit. And I mean, Deegan runs him wide, but no harm, no foul. Certainly wasn't anything like the rest of the moto and like the rest of the lunges. It was just more of a like run him wide, see if he loses spots. And Joe did lose a little bit of time, but overall it was very clean compared to the rest of the shenanigans, let's say.
Yeah, and Joe knew it was coming. We've kind of listened to some of his interviews now, and he was expecting it. But it also sounds like he was pretty confused at the same time while it was all happening. He was just like not knowing what to expect. So yeah, I got hairy quick. Like, once Hayden got up front, then I first saw him like check the brakes up, and he did like a slide, like kick the ass in left and right, and he just really checked up. And I mean, let's be honest. I mean, he proved he is the fastest guy out there. Joe said it. Everyone knows it. Like, he shows us. He proves it to us. But I don't think if it wasn't for the money in the situation, he wouldn't be doing that. You know, he's not like just going to do that all the time as a rider. You know, there's no point, no way, no reason to just do that just to prove yourself for some reason. You know, but with money on the line, I think it's kind of fine. I think it's expected. I mean, SuperMotocross, the series is happy. They got a lot of views. They make money off of that. Everyone's happy with it. But you do got to follow the rules. And I can argue both sides, honestly, because I think it was okay. I think the ride, it was fine. But also, I think it was dumb. I think it was injury risking. And I think that is not okay. And I think that maybe there is need to be some rule changes or something that could do this. But it's hard to say because you can't make rule changes that only apply sometimes what they should be applying every time. You can't play favorites or anything like that either. So yes, I think it's exciting. I think it's good for the sport, and I think it was justified in a way, but I think it's dangerous, and it was only proven just to be exactly that, only for himself. Played stupid games, win stupid prizes, kind of a situation. But at the same time, it's like, man, I don't know. Like I said, I can literally I can argue both sides of it because I just feel, like I said, going back to my previous point, I believe he had to hit him pretty hard to make a difference. You can just put him down on the corner and he just gets back up and you guys are so far ahead, he's still going to get second. So that's where I start thinking it's going to get really unsafe because you really got to hit him hard to either hurt him or knock him down hard enough to get
Yeah.
away from him and get other people to pass him. So that's where I think the kind of the issue is, where it's not really just about putting him down, but in my opinion, if it was me, I would know in my head that I would have to put him down hard and possibly hurt him or hurt myself, and that's pretty much exactly what happened. I mean, you're in Vegas, and he decided to gamble, and sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. And he wasn't the only one. I was going down bad at the hotel too. Down. But
I saw the videos on Derek's Instagram.
I know he's always calling me out. But yeah, no, that was nuts, man. I definitely want to know your opinion on it. But and then you guys can leave your opinions too in the comments. So feel free. But it was definitely, like I said, on the floor again. I wasn't even like in the right area to see a lot of the action. I was more on the side coming around, but the energy was unreal. Like the stadium was going nuts, and it was just it was cool. You know, like the energy was high. Like I was excited. I was having so much fun. This was crazy. I was like, oh my god, this is insane. And you know what? This is a product of SMX. This is what they built, an incentivizing program, which leads to, this last race being a big deal. Like I said, the first two rounds, I don't think these guys are going around doing the math constantly and trying to figure out where they're at. You know, you can't even do that. So that's what I'm wondering too. Like in this last one, I don't think maybe they'll do a little bit of mathematics in their head while they're riding around, but it's got to be difficult. What did Joe say? I heard him say something about being confused by someone else's pitboard sign about points or something like that. I think he read another team's pitboard sign and almost confused him on where he was or where he needed to be to win. And he even let Tom get around him at the end. So when that happened, I kind of wondered if he was just kind of letting it happen and he knew the math, or if he was nervous, because I'd be tripping if I was up there, I guess, not knowing what to do. But Trey, you watched it on TV. Were you with family or you by yourself? What do you do?
When I'm watching it, my dad and I always watch it together.
Mm.
When I got into the sport, and then a year or so after, I pulled him into the sport, and I mean, it was very entertaining from a chaos perspective, but I think it was a little egregious. I mean, look, if you're going to take somebody out for a championship, like you refer back to Vegas 2017's, like the classic example was Zach Osborne, Joey Savacci. Like, okay, if you're going to take somebody out to win a championship, all right. But the thing is, with that night, with how chaotic it was, with Osborne taking Savacci out, Osborne, any other time in history, I don't think ever had a reputation for riding aggressive, riding dirty. And the same thing with like when you saw Tomac doing the bunching stuff with Dungey. Like apart from Tomac and Dean Wilson exchanging a couple passes when they were in the 250 class, Tomac never really rode aggressive. And you look at it today, he's a very clean, very respected racer. Hayden has had some of these run-ins in the past. I think of Birmingham last year when he just smokes Cody Schock at the end of the race.
Mm-hmm.
Or, of course, Juju, Cole Davies, that sort of stuff. But Hayden has had these run-ins in the past and some of these aggressive moments to where he's going to get a lot more scrutiny if he does it. And I feel like it wouldn't have been looked at so bad if he would have just made the one move that took himself and Joe down. It wouldn't have been viewed in such a negative light as what he did, because it seemed like there were multiple lunges. And I mean, I know sometimes he was like far back and probably just showing him a wheel and trying to get him scared, but Joe was just minding his own business, riding his own race. And then you could see like Deegan was actively wanting to take him out. And like you mentioned too, like if you're in that situation, and as you said, you would have to take him down really hard for him to lose the spots necessary. I think back to Jacob Hayes and Kyle Regal one year in Arena Cross. Hayes, I mean, he completely obliterates Kyle Regal. Kyle gets back up and he's in last, but Hayes hit him so hard that the radiator or something busted in his bike, and that's another thing you got to take. Like
Joe said
maybe
his was
Hayden
bent
and
up
Joe
too.
take if they
Yeah.
take each other down, I mean, regardless of the injury, like if you're going to try to take somebody down that hard, you're going to do damage to your own motorcycle. Whether you bend up the bars, you do something to the radiator, to the engine, there's so many risks involved. And I get wanting to make a move and to become champion. But I just felt like all of the lunges and then going down at the end, I think everybody talks about, all of the comments and, and talk about, and this day and age, of course, you have all the TikTok clips. Oh, this guy's a savage, or this moment's so cold, or whatever. I think Joe Shimoda had one of the greatest mic drop rides of all time. Like, he has a dude in his ear saying, "You don't know what's going to happen to you." Joe just goes out, rides his race. I mean, of course, he mentions being confused a little bit, but he seemed so calm under pressure. Like, he has a guy sending a wheel on him, like, every corner. He's just cruising. He gets knocked down, but he just picks the bike right back up and goes right back out there and wins a championship. It was such a cool, calm, and collected ride. And then, I mean,
I mean, it's almost their
it's
personalities on display on the bike.
yeah, it's one of those
Really,
things. I mean, you see Joe just gets up very calmly, walks away. The crowd roars, and of course Hayden goes to pick up the bike, and you can tell something's wrong because he's like grabbing at his shoulder. Then he stands by the pit wall or whatever you want to call it, the drag strip wall. But I mean, like I said, I get wanting to be aggressive in a championship situation, but I think you're stepping over the line when you go for so many lunges. If he went for just one pass, like I said, the pass that took him down, if he just
yeah.
went for that one, I don't think it would have been as bad, even though he would have taken both of them down and there still would have been a lot of controversy. But when you're lunging, when you can clearly see in the corners, like Joe's running wide, and you can see just cutting the inside and showing a wheel like every corner, it starts to get to a level. And like I said, I mean, the reputation that Hayden built from some of his previous incidents, not only this year, but in the past, that really hurt him in this case. And of course, he came in on probation, I believe, from the
Yeah.
Cole Davies incident back in Denver. And then, of course, at the end of the night, he ends up getting a point penalty. Not that it matters, but he gets a little bit of a point penalty, and it ends up costing him, like, I think $25,000 because Nate Thrasher ended up jumping him in the points. So Nate
Yeah.
Thrasher ends up as the top star Yamaha rider in the
Yeah.
points
It's
because
funny,
of the penalty. But I
dude.
mean, it's aggressive racing is one thing, but I think a little bit making a fool of yourself when you like repeatedly lunge at somebody. I don't know.
And dropping back for
I
it.
yes, and the bunching. I mean, I think once again the Tomac Dungy example, like Tomac definitely made a couple attempts to try to move Dungy out of the way, but it didn't feel like he wasn't constantly lunging at him, and he wasn't like getting a gap and then slowing down. Like, he was keeping his pace up enough to where everybody stacked up behind him instead of like Hayden where he'd go a little bit and then he's like, oh crap, where is he? And then
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
got to like slow down and wait for him and then be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna turn now and I'm gonna run into him.
Yeah. I was. You almost. I mean, I guess there's so many ways you can think about going, like other ways to go about it, right? You can almost look at it and say, hey, I wonder if you could have played more with. I was wondering. He had positions between him, like Seth. He could have been a bigger factor if maybe Hayden positioned
Levi's
himself
mechanical
with
was a
Seth the
huge
whole time.
factor.
Like he could have positioned himself with Seth more to play the defense, but staying behind Seth, playing defense back there or something. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
I think
realistically, like maybe he could have done, try to pass on Joe, maybe when he was coming up on him without going bunching up or going backwards. Said, hey, you know what? It's not going to happen. I'm just going to put a 20 second gap on these guys and just show them the fastest, make my $250,000 or whatever, and call it
yeah,
good. And
that's also the infuriating part is because we know how fast Hayden
yeah,
is. We know how talented he is, and then he's out there like putting around and like making desperate attempts. It's like we know you're the fastest guy, but I mean Levi Kitchen. I mentioned him, like I said, the mechanical failure because he was right up there with those guys,
mm,
and when he dropped out, I mean it was. I don't know who was fourth at the time, but I know Daxton Bennick was at the start of the race. But it was a mile. Those top three guys,
yeah,
well, four guys, when Joe made the move around Dax, they were gone. They were in another level. And then you think back, of course, to the takeout at St. Louis. Levi Kitchen, of course, intentionally played a role in St. Louis, but inadvertently with his bike just shutting off or whatever happened there in that second moto, he inadvertently played a big role into it too, because you say, what about like Seth? If Seth and Levi are both there, that definitely increases the intrigue level, because of course you think about Hayden maybe wanting to get back at Levi, and Levi is not going to ride friendly with Hayden if he sees him doing any shenanigans. So that throws another wrench into that. Like, what if there's another infight? What if they all like take Joe with them if they get into their stuff? I mean, there are so many factors, but with Levi running off track and him having that bike issue, it completely flipped it around, where it's like Seth is the only guy that is in this group that can benefit from it. And of course, Tom ends up getting around Joe briefly, but all in all, Seth was the only guy right there. If Levi stays in it, no bike issues, no problems whatsoever, things could have also been different in the fact that the crash could have taken down multiple guys. I mean, you never know. If is the biggest little word there is, and you can't really tell, obviously, what would have happened if Levi was still up there. I don't know, but I feel like it would have definitely thrown another wild card, another wrench into the plans if there was 4 guys right up there. And of course, Seth is the guy with the outside shot and doesn't really have anything with either guy, so he's just riding around like, can somebody do something? I want to win this.
And sure enough, I mean, they did. And
Almost.
yeah, I mean,
It was close.
he still got his moto win, but he was in a perfect position and he put himself there. And hats off to him for doing that and being able to execute that. And well, like you said, like them dropping back, it's kind of crazy because they did like 3 or 4 things, shenanigans back and forth until they actually put themselves down on the ground. Is when Seth caught up, but then they still didn't see anyone else. Like I didn't see anyone else coming up anytime soon. Other,
Yeah.
that was nuts. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, I really can just argue both sides of it. I feel like it's dumb, but it's necessary. But there might need to be some rule changes. But that was really exciting. But it's like that's a tough one. Because we want to see exciting racing, but we don't want to see people necessarily get hurt either. So
Yeah.
and then, like, we got a comment here. XCF says, "Are there any updates on the MX of Nations USA team yet?" So obviously, that's another huge factor when it comes to this and Chase. But it's like, well, there goes Team USA. I think even Eli made a comment about that. Like, well, there goes our team. With Hayden having broken collarbone. So I don't know anything yet. I just seen Hayden's his own personal stories and stuff like that. But I saw he had a surgery right away. We've heard stories of people. I mean, even Cody Shock when he got taken out by around that time, whatever, he was coming back from that surgery, right? A quick surgery. So it's like we know these guys might do that, but it's only a couple weeks away. Highly unlikely. I don't know whose choice it is. I think at the end of the day, it's probably the athlete's choice for someone like Hayden, and I feel like he's going to make that decision himself. He might want to just tough through it. I don't know if that's the smartest thing. I mean, obviously it's not. I'll commend him for wanting to do that and represent, Team USA still and being out there and not failing his fans, I guess, and people that want to be out there. But we'll see. Like I said, I don't know. He got that surgery. He posted a story implying that that's what he's trying to do. But as far as now, we don't really have any official word on that. But yeah, I think obviously, I mean, if you can go on social media, you can see the comments. You got Hampshire, we got J Coop. They're publicly commenting like, put me in, coach, kind of a thing. Like they want to do it, and I think that's still
Cooper Webb as well was like,
yeah.
he's like,
Cooper
I
Webb,
don't care what class bike. He's like, I'm ready if I get the call.
yeah. So like
And
that,
he stepped up last year when Chase got hurt, and when of course Chance Hymas got hurt as well.
and Chase, this is the third time crashing out
3 years in a
this.
row at the SMX finale.
Gnarly. I mean, man. Well, let's finish up 250s, but let's do one more. Congratulations to Joe before you jump into the 450 stuff. Awesome to see. Love seeing his family there. Everyone just being so excited. The dude is funny. I just see. I mean, he just won this championship, and he's up there giving like little thumbs ups. He's doing like hearts and stuff, and just a funny,
First ever Japanese champion, which is also really sick as well. I
really
mean, you
cool
think about
Japanese
how
bikes.
Japan, of course, yeah, Honda, Suzuki, Kawasaki, Yamaha, like the big 4 brands that have been in the sport from day one pretty much, and they've never had a champion athlete. And now Joe, all the sacrifices his family's made, I mean, a lot of bumps in his career. Like, obviously, he was a Geico Honda kid. Then the team shuts down. When he got the pro circuit ride, that was a very last minute thing. He had to win a tryout competition basically to get that fifth PC seat. And then he goes over there, starts winning races and crushes it. I mean, it's a culmination of a lot of work and a lot of preparation, a lot of sacrifices, and it's awesome to see not just Joe win a championship, but like I said, I mean, for the country of Japan to be on top is really cool to see, in my opinion, as well.
Yeah, I agree as well. I think that's really cool. I love seeing a lot of the international riders that come to our sport. I mean, we got the Australians that are just kicking our ass, but otherwise, otherwise, yeah, seeing Joe win. I mean, I would love to see more Japanese riders out here. I think it's one of the places I really want to go is Japan actually for one of my other hobbies as well. I love cars and JDM and all that stuff. So I think it's really cool to see Joe win. And like I said, it's hard to pick a better guy to win it. Other than everyone loves Hayden. We want to see him win too, but it's good to see the other guys win too. And hey, man, it was exciting. They kept it good, and glad he's okay. Glad Hayden's not too banged up. I mean, things could be worse for anyone in those kind of situations. Excited to see them come back. Hopefully, we're gonna see some good action. 250s at Supercross at A1. I think Hayden. I think last couple of things we read before we wrap the 250s. Last couple of opinions on Hayden is just. I kind of wonder what he's gonna, if anything, change after this. I wonder if there's anything that he maybe realizes and just thinks like, or maybe it's quite the opposite. And Vegas was just a way of solidifying who he is. Maybe this is just more like, all right, now everyone knows who you are. Clearly, you're not the guy that wants to have the friends on the track. And I mean, honestly, in taking it further, I kind of always felt like his things are kind of fabricated between the animosity that he creates between himself and like other riders. I kind of feel like it's mainly fabricated and for show and just on brand, if anything.
Yeah,
I mean, he's got the Meta Militia gear on, which is kind of sick, and I think he's just kind of on brand for it. But because it seems confusing to other people. Like Joe's just seems to be like, I don't know what his problem is, like whatever. And I think he's just trying to get in his head, and I think it's fine too. I'm like, whatever. Are you not entertained? Like, come on, like let's bring it on. Let's keep it going. But I kind of wonder, are we going to see some changes, or is he going to just come into it and just still be that guy? And
no, he's still anytime he's in front of a microphone, he's still going to turn
yeah,
it up to 1,000%. And whether you get humble Hayden Deegan who just won a race, or the essentially just movie character or whatever you want to call it. I mean, I don't think he's going to change. He's got this far into his career and made this many fans by being himself, love him or hate him. I don't think this is going to change a
and
thing.
I
He's
will
still going to
say,
be Hayden Deegan.
I think he might have lost some fans though this weekend because it was pretty obvious. There was
Yeah.
people that were upset, and they're taking their discourse to it and they're putting it out there. And I guess there were some people even at the track taking their merch off. And I mean, you were
Wow.
losing some, and you're probably making some as well. But like I said, there might be some reflection, some self-reflection to have out of there, but or maybe like rule changes or whatever. There's something that might come out of this. But either way, it was entertaining. But is it safe? I don't know. It's hard to say. Like I said, I can literally just sit here and argue with it back and forth. So we'll move on. Congratulations, Joe Shimoda. Really looking forward to some more awesome 250 class racing coming here in A1 after a nice little 3-month break, which I almost get a break because I got to go jump in the arena cross here in a few weeks. So it's going to be getting crazy. So we'll get into that at the end of the show. But 450s, again, Lawrence Brothers, kind of where all the eyes were on. We wanted to know if the three-peat was over for Hayden. Are we going to get the three-peat at a Jet? Again, I think everyone went into it kind of, we already knew, like, it's probably going to be about the same thing we keep seeing. Again, take Jet out of the picture, and you got some crazy racing all season. Between 2nd through 7th, it almost seems like. These guys have been tight. I mean, they were tight in points, too, right? I think it was
Yeah, like
4th
the
through
4 through 8
7, 4th
range.
through 8. Yeah,
They
they're
were
all
like,
7
yeah.
points or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that was good racing, and we saw that same good racing. I think Roxon did good again. It's good to see him out there pushing.
Yeah.
I mean, Eli's an animal. I mean, that guy, we thought he was going to be retired by now, and he's out there contending for the championships. it's kind of nuts to me. Like I think, and he said when people ask him, like last year or so, they were like, "So how long or when are you gonna try?" Or he's, "Well, I'm still winning or I'm still doing good." Well, I don't think the answer's changed, so I'm hoping we're gonna keep seeing him
Yeah.
back for a while. So, um, but yeah, 450s qualifying. I don't think there's nothing really too crazy happening there. Last race for Chase on a KTM, unfortunately. That's a way to go out. It's really scary.
Yeah,
It's sad.
really sour ending, and I put that in the article. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a sour note to end it on. And of course, a lot of wins and the outdoor championship last year, but man, to end it being carted off the track, brutal.
Yeah. No, that was wild. Hunter Lawrence, though, he's been doing some great starts. I think he did a good start in both motos, but he got that whole shot. He kind of snuck it in there on that first moto. It didn't look like it at first. He jumped on that inside again. That start was kind of interesting, which it kept it interesting, I guess, right? But what do you think about that one for up there, Trey? When you're watching on TV, was it exciting? Was it a super exciting 450 first moto?
I mean, it was a solid race. Like Eli makes a move pretty quick for the lead, and you see Jet. It seemed like he was losing time at the beginning. Justin Cooper gets a little bit bigger gap. It's like, what is he doing back there? It's like he's got to be up front if he wants to win this championship.
Yeah.
And then, like in the middle of the moto, it just seemed like the switch flipped, and I don't know if anybody listens to Lil Wayne, but it's like when you hear the lighter flick at the start of one of his songs, like it's about to get real, and it just like halfway through that moto,
Yeah,
he
shit.
just flipped the switch and started charging to the front. I mean, it was insane. It just felt like he was like, well, I've just cruised for 10 minutes. Now I got to go win a championship. And he just locked in, as the kids would say. And it was insane. He makes everything look so easy. I mean, it's insane to watch. And of course, like you mentioned earlier in the show, the fact that Tomac finished between the brothers, that ended up being a very crucial point in the race. And of course, Hunter was getting great starts all night, but him not being able to get back up to Tomac and Jet getting by both of them was a very, very pivotal moment. And I said that last week in St. Louis too, when you had the ride where Jet came through the pack first moto. I thought that him losing out to Tomac could have been a potentially championship altering moto. And of course, he lost that position by maybe like half a wheel or so. But it's interesting because it's such a short championship. These three races, like every single moto matters, and every moto matters always. Every main event matters always, but it gets magnified when it's these short seasons. It's like, man, that moment that could be really crucial, and you can see it in the moment how much it means.
Yeah. No, it was on full display out there. But Moto 1, yeah, that was I mean, we just jumped right into Moto 2, but like the dynamic, I think, going into it, like for me, when I was just watching the brothers, I just wanted to know like how they were going to race each other. I'm like, are we going to see clean racing or on this track, or are they not going to be brothers? And actually, I wanted to ask that question at the press conference, but they had some technical issues. I was sitting down, getting ready. I don't ask too many questions at those, but I was excited for that one because I had a good question, but then we had some issues. But that's what I was most curious about. I was like, are we going to see this, or are we going to see Jet? Maybe you let him win if he's in the position, but he was in that position. He did not let him win. So I'll tell you that much. I was, I don't know. You could feel the emotion, if you want to even call it that. It was kind of emotionless at the end. Like I'll show you my clips too at the end. Like they were just quiet. It was weird. Like it was kind of a weird ending. Like
Yeah.
at first, I didn't think he was going to even get it. It seemed like Hunter was actually going to get it fair and square. Like he was there. And then Jet, in his interview, I think he even said something about that. I think he said that he was basically giving up, but then he realized he could still get it, catch up to
Yeah.
him. And then he caught up to him and got him. And once again, Eli just being the biggest factor right
Yeah,
there.
he gets Eli. If Eli stays ahead of Jet, it's completely opposite. Hunter wins the title. But I think the emotion part of it for both of them, I mean, it's the same exact result and scenario. Of course, last year, like Jet wins the tie to become champion, but it's the same scenario as last year. like both brothers have a chance to win, and Jet at the last second gets back on top. And of course, Jet is the brother that usually ends up winning everything. And I mean, he essentially feels bad for his brother because his brother Hunter is riding fantastic. He is definitely one of the best in the world right now, and he is giving all of the top guys all they can handle. And I mean, there's so much respect and so much love between the two of them that I feel like, Jet is bummed out. Like he's deep down happy that he won, but at the same time, it's not like he's taking a championship from Chase Sexton or Eli Tomac or Cooper Webb. It's like, that's my older brother. That's my hero that I'm taking the championship from, and it feels sour for them.
Yeah, they're a tight family. So that's kind of again kind of my point. I'm wondering like how are these guys going to race each other because of that, like. But let's see here. We saw it happen. I don't think I was right there when the pass happened. I think it was like kind of here after. So there's Hunter. They just passed him just before this. Again, that section was interesting to me. It was like a rhythm, but no one was rhythm. They were just kind of get set up for that corner, which is a weird corner. But I noticed when Jet wins, he pulls off and he goes for his high five. After the high five, he kind of puts his head up, and I can't tell if he's saying like yes, if he's like, I don't know, or if he's sympathizing with him a little bit. Like I don't know. You'll see right here. Kind of almost looks frustrated or relieved, maybe, I don't know. And they hug it out. But Hunter's pissed or upset. I mean, how can't you be? I've never seen someone win $1 million and sit there like that. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. I've never seen anyone win $1 million and just.
It's also like, oh, I've done this 3 times before. It's not as exciting.
I mean, maybe, but like, no. I mean, come on, look at this. They won't even look at each other.
Yeah.
It was just awkward. It was just quiet. I was just kind of sitting there going, huh. I don't know what I maybe missed. And you can look at him. He's not even smiling. And then he let someone get in his head, too, and he got in an argument with a fan. I don't know if you saw that, but someone was messing with Jet behind the scenes behind us when we were shooting, and he came over, and there's a clip of him somewhere kind of letting it out on him. And, I mean, I get what he was saying. He was saying, about people being disrespectful to him because he's Australian or this and that. And he's just like, hey, man, I love America. I love Americans. And I love being here. I love the opportunities. He goes, you come to Australia, you say that to me, like it'd be a different story or something. But I also think he might have just been letting out a little bit of that frustration. I think he's clearly not, there was a little bit something there. I would love to be able to hear what that might be, but it was an interesting reaction. I still see on their stories, they were still obviously hanging out and doing stuff. They were doing stuff today, training together, doing something, so must be fine.
The cat dancing video?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so, I don't know. It was, I feel bad a little bit, I want to see Hunter win. I've seen Jet win enough. I would like that. CKY Moto says, could you ever see the Lawrence brothers being on a different bike ever? It's a good question because it's almost, you can almost say that about a lot of riders. Hayden, Kitchen. Like you start associating these people with the bikes they're on that you almost AP, and he looks good on KTM, but, he was also Star Yamaha not that long ago. You almost, time kind of goes by fast and slow, so it's hard to tell. Like, I do think those Lawrences look great on the Honda, and I have a feeling the Honda is going to just try to keep them on as long as they can, kind of similar to Yamaha with Hayden. I think you kind of find those relationships.
Jet's been on that brand since he was 16 years old and just moved to the United States.
Yeah.
And it feels like, Honda took a little bit of a risk bringing him over here, but it's paid off so much that I can't see, unless they suddenly start losing, which I also can't see, but I can't see any situation as of right now that would take them away from Honda unless there's some kind of year down the road where they come out with like a new generation bike and they're not big fans of it, or something happens management wise, because it seems like Honda knows that those two guys are going to keep them at the front of the field for a very long time.
Yeah. And the benefits they have working with the brothers like that is, as a manufacturer, is pretty big too, because they test each other's bikes. So they get
Oh yeah.
multiple
I mean, I know.
inputs on their bikes like that. And I remember when they rode those brand new bikes stock and they liked them. And they told me that they were chasing for the season when they got on the new bike. They were chasing the stock feeling with the factory setup to find that speed, and then they went from there and adjusted it further. But when they first got on the new bikes, they liked the stock feeling so much that that's the feeling they were chasing to
I
get
know it
set
like
up.
Buds, and I don't know how many other racers. I think I saw a clip of it at Red Bud too. But like they on press day, they take a spin on each other's bikes. I don't know how often they do it, but I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
Buds I've seen
It
around, and I
confused
I
me
was
so
looking and
much.
I'm like, wait a second, and I see 96 on 18, and I see 18 on 96. I'm like, oh, here we go.
Yeah, and I
And
was
like
actually wondering about that. I was like, kind of
it's like the
wondering.
Spider-Man meme.
Yeah, I didn't know you could do that. Like, wasn't that qualifying? No, practice. Was it practice? Was it free
It
practice?
was just press day.
Oh, press day. Okay,
No, it was.
that's right.
It was a very lax environment, but it's still a very weird visual when you
Yeah,
see
it tripped
somebody
me
else
out.
on another motorcycle.
Whenever I remember specifically because I was filming them coming up at me, and I'm looking at the front number plate only, and then they kind of cross like a tree or a person or something in front of me, and when now I'm behind them, I see his jersey has a different number, and like when I rewatched it on the
What?
video, yeah, I was just like, I thought my mind was playing tricks on me or something. I didn't even know that was going on, but yeah, that's a little funny, but also like a big I think benefit to Honda themselves just to have that input. They can really like pinpoint things. I think that way. But yeah, I think for 450s, Jet another three-peat. It's what we're expecting. 450s, it's just so interesting to watch. These guys are so fast, so fluid, so effortless. I am excited for Hayden to get in there, and I don't expect right away it's a different level, but maybe his wildness, the way he rides so wide open, might throw him in on there, and maybe that's going to be a benefit to him compared to these 450 guys because it's just going to be so different than what they're used to racing. That he's just going to approach it in such a different way, even if they may be faster than him. I just don't know if anyone has a defense on that right now in the 450 class, especially because they're bumping each other around just the same, but not as loose. Maybe Hayden won't be as loose on the 450, but I'm excited. That's going to be some cool racing to watch. I mean, obviously everyone's going to be excited. It's going to be another crazy season. We don't even know if for sure. I mean, I think it's pretty much for sure he's going to be on 250 in Supercross. I think if he didn't hurt himself, I think maybe there was a question on if he wanted to jump it up early. But I think due to this, to go defend that title and then get back in shape and everything else, so it should be good. But before we wrap it up, Trey, do you got anything else? I was going to jump on the Arena Cross page here in a second.
Not really. I mean, it was a very chaotic weekend of racing to end things off. I would say, I mean, yes, overall, technically, like a 3 month off season, but for me as a racing fan, like we have Motocross of Nations next weekend. Parkzilla Arena Cross, as you pull up the screen, is starting soon. AMA Arena Cross is starting soon. World Supercross is starting soon. So for racing fans, we don't even really have an off season this year because there's so much going on. And you look at even the other off season races, like they always have the race in Paris and Australian Supercross stuff. I usually don't watch that, but I'll try to watch AUS-X Open this year because they usually have some big names over there. But there are a lot of races to be able to come up, and not to mention all the silly season changes. I mean, we have an idea of all the big factory silly season changes, or at least I do, but we still get to see them play out and get to see how's this guy going to look on his new machinery? What's he thinking about the bike so far? There's so much that is still going to go on in these next couple months that is just going to keep us busy and keep us excited. And then when that Saturday rolls around and it's Anaheim 1, everybody's going to pop up out of bed and be like, let's go, a new season, baby.
Yeah, I know it's gonna come up quick. And just so you guys know, like I said, this show again, this live stream, it's meant to be different, and it's meant to be, I think, Tuesday nights. That really works for my schedule personally. I like Tuesday night. Still trying to think of a good name for it. Maybe TWMX Tuesdays or TWMX Live or Street Live Stream, whatever. You guys can leave some comments for that as well. Really planning to really launch this A1. This first 3 rounds were kind of a test, which I think have been pretty successful. I love the format. I love the chat. I love having the interactive background. Trey's great. I love having Trey in here. Trey's a really good younger guy in the industry coming out of college, but he went to school for journalism to be in motocross journalism, and he does his own little podcast as well, which you can plug. And make sure you check him out. Love having him on here. It definitely helps me. I'm new. This is all very new to me, the talking and the podcasting and all that. But I like that actually. CKY Moto just said talk with us Tuesdays. That's not bad either. I like the little catchy rhyming things. But yeah, this is something we're doing kind of new. Like I said, for me, like I'm having a lot of fun. This is all learning experience for me too. So I hope you guys are enjoying it. Hope I'm not stumbling over my own feet too much talking with you guys. But so I have Trey here because he's a smart guy, knows his history, knows his numbers much better than me. But hey, I like making cool content and trying to bring this brand back to life. And it's been an incredible journey so far this last year and a half doing just that. And we're really excited for next year. We're going to have some partners on board. We're just, it's going to be a totally different deal. And I just can't wait to keep showing you guys what we can do in that way. So we'll have some more guests. Maybe we'll do some more shows. We had AP like on the first one. They're testing out, making sure we can do guests right. I've talked to Hayden a little bit. Me and Hayden go back quite a bit. Like I've filmed with him for 10 years personally with his, and did all his YouTube and his social for a long time. I've known him since he was 8, so I've actually talked to him a lot. He's definitely down to come on the show. We've just been trying to find the right time. So maybe we'll get some updates before, maybe we'll hop on. My goal is to do this every single week. I don't know if I have something for next week, but maybe we can make something. Maybe we can find a guest or something to keep us going. I wanted to catch up with Jordan a little bit after his accident and incredible performance, coming back from that huge viral clip of ours to, finishing sixth overall. And that points to or seventh in points, right? It was like sixth overall.
I don't remember right off the top of my head in points, but I do know for sure sixth overall in the race, which in itself, I mean, like I said, to go from flying through the air and barrel rolling to even
seventh.
lining up and competing is insane.
He got seventh in the point standings too.
Yeah,
so
seventh in points. Really solid.
Yeah,
only 3
impressive.
points away from sixth.
So I'll try to find some more guests. Maybe to do some more episodes between now and A1. I don't think we're planning on going on destinations. Just couldn't really quite swing it this year without having partners and everything else to help me get me there. But like I said, next year we're looking a lot better for those things. My ultimate goal with the brand, aside from bringing this legacy back to life like we've done, I mean, we've actually done really good. My impressions are out the roof. I'm climbing by 1 million impressions every month, like on these platforms, the socials. But there are plans. We do want to maybe bring back print. Is something that is in the talks. They're kind of waiting for me to give them more of the green light, and I just want to have some more things ready. And then this show, being a big part of it, I want to continue this. There's a lot of things I want to do and talk about, but we'll have to just get into it. But yeah, really A1's the big thing in this show. Like I said, this is a big thing that I've been wanting to do for a long time. Need to keep the information out there, more presence for myself, Trey here, and just love doing this. So we want to keep doing it. And we'll try to find some times during this off season to try to hop back on here and there as well. Maybe we'll do it every week. I don't know. Probably not though, because I gotta have some content for it. But the Arena Cross is coming up, so we'll probably do some follow-ups on Arena Cross. We'll probably do maybe some MX Nation stuff. I'll watch it on TV and just have some thoughts on it, and maybe some international races. Like I said, that's what I was trying to get at. Is my goal, aside from the magazine, doing other things like that, is I really want to expand the reach of Transworld Motocross and Motocross.com, and not just American Supercross and Motocross, although those are our cores, of what I want to do. I mean, I want to spread out to the World Supercross, the MXGP, to the one-off races. I want to do a lot more of the amateur stuff. Eventually, that's the goal. Is we're hiring and have a network of filmers and content creators, and we're just putting 5 to 10 YouTube videos up a week, and it's just cranking coverage. We're doing 3 shows a week. I want it to get that busy, so we'll get there eventually. This is just the start of it all. Again, really appreciate you guys being here tonight. Trey, let's check out the schedule real quick. Just to give an idea, again, we're the presenting sponsor for this Partzilla Arena Cross Series. It is the
less than a month away.
Away, right? In Clarksville, Tennessee is the first race. And it's going to be an amazing series. This is the 3rd year the series is running. The 2nd year it's going to be broadcasted on Fox Sports, FS1 and FS2. And the 1st year with Transworld Motocross as a partner, as a presenting sponsor. And hopefully a long relationship there. Know the owner, Bobby, well. We work well together.
Don't forget, also a official East Coast AMA Arena Cross Championship
Yep.
now.
AMA Regional Series. So you can get your AMA points, your pro points. And this is actually lines up really great with a lot of
East
riders, the
Coast.
East Coast
Yep.
Supercross, because if the schedule, there's obviously a purse, there's money. Well, I gotta pull the schedule here. It is. The schedule. Um, I forgot what I was saying right there, but but here's the schedule right here. It starts quick. Oh yeah, it lines up perfectly with the East Coast Supercross. So a lot of the teams we got Club MX, Dirt Bike Depot, Partzilla, PRMX. There's a lot of the pro teams that are going to be here. With some of their riders maybe just coming back from injury, or some of their newer riders getting ready for Supercross, help get their feet wet. Some other returning riders as well that are already racing pro, but a lot of these guys are going to be here racing this series to get ready to jump right into Supercross right after. So we're gonna have some really good teams. There's some really good action. There's a lot of great ways to be a part of it. Check out this schedule, screenshot it. We'll be at a lot of them. I know I'm going to go to the first one for sure, probably the Florida one, the North Carolina one, like 4 or 5 of these for sure. Going as many as I can with personally. We'll have the presence there at all of them and everything we're doing, but um, really excited to see you guys there. Please come race it. We even got an influencer for this one, Duke Gomez. The guy's hilarious. I follow him. He's funny. Seen him at the races recently. Loves the sport. He's going to be racing as well, which is going to be pretty funny. So that's going to be some great entertainment that weekend, of course. um, but yeah, it's going to be great. Yeah, CKY Moto, once again, thanks for leaving your comments here, buddy, and being a part of the show with us. It's a great part about the show is you guys can comment and be a part of this with us. Seems like a perfect series for the top amateurs to get some indoor style gauge drops before SX Futures. Yep, being based southeast, all the training facilities. Exactly, yeah. So we're going to have a lot of those guys already there from those training facilities that are going to be here at these races. So it's great. I mean, it's really exciting. Sonny Leonte builds the tracks. Great track builder. Beautiful tracks. Arenas are great. You can see the list of them here. They're great arenas. Most of them are like basketball, hockey style arenas. They're like little mini jumbotrons and stuff like that. And I know we're going to try to put on a little bit of a production, try to make it a little bit more of a show. But really, obviously, it's a great place for you guys to come ride, hang out, and just have some fun.
Should be a fun time. And I mean, honestly, I want to get to a couple of them myself. I don't know which ones exactly, but I know like Toledo and Salem are definitely on my radar. So we'll see what happens, but I definitely would like to go to a couple of them. And Arena Cross is always a lot of fun to watch, always action all over the place. So I'm interested to see what happens and to see what all faces show up.
And make sure you guys check out motocross.com. That's definitely that's part of Transworld Motocross. It used to be twmx.com. If you go there, it just forwards you to motocross.com. Where we'll be putting up all kinds of stuff. We're actually, Trey and I, maybe we're going to work on something here soon on an interview with Bobby, the owner of the series. We're going to put a story up on there here shortly. Be on the lookout maybe this week for that. And then just everything else that we're doing on there. Please check out motocross.com. That is something that we are. I mean, it's one of those sites that's been around forever, but it's not. It's kind of made its rounds in different places. And one of the things that my partners did with Transworld and all of the Transworld brands is they changed all the websites to like a more minimal website name, better for SEO kind of a thing. Like now they own motocross.com, skate.com, surf.com, bike.com. So all the Transworld brands are now associated with those websites. So part of my job is to help not only with the resurgence of the brand, but to also basically launch this new site. And Trey's been a big part of that as well. He's been helping me out, and we've had some help with a few people in the past. And that's one of the things we want to do is keep growing this team. So hey, if you're a rider and you love dirt bikes, there might be some opportunity here to be a contributor on the website. Want to get some more people involved, and next year we'll be looking for maybe another filmer and stuff like that as well. I mean, I got a good list of people already, but I like to put it out there sometimes. You never know who says, because you'd be surprised how many people are here or have worked with me or have done some cool opportunities because of a DM. So you never know. But Trey, where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram at TJ Stire3. That's TJSTIRE number 3. My other socials, my X account is Stire23. As you mentioned, I do have a podcast going to record it, edit it. I usually have them always up on Wednesdays. My podcast is called The Steyr Sound. Episode 14 dropping tomorrow. I'm the host. Jack Noel, who's a part of the Dirt Bike Depot KTM team, he is my co-host. We always talk about the action. Of course, next week's edition we will be previewing the Motocross of Nations and talking about all the teams, who are the contenders, who are the sleepers, all of that stuff. Of course, this week we'll be wrapping up all of the shenanigans and the chaos and the fun from Las Vegas SMX, taking a look at the end of the year, our final thoughts. But we're a weekly series over there, so we're definitely going to have a lot to cover. Like you mentioned, I mean, you have World Supercross. MXGP just had a really wild finale that
Yeah, I
Jack
heard.
and I will cover tomorrow as well. Congrats to Roman Fevra and Simon Langenfelder for winning their titles. But like I said, the Steyr Sound is my podcast name. You can find it on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, the big platforms. And I have an Instagram account for it as well. It is the Steyr Sound Official on Instagram. I also post that to my personal YouTube, so you can just find me on YouTube as Trey Steyr. But thanks for the opportunity once again. I love doing this show, love talking about motocross, and I'm stoked to be a part of the Transworld Motocross family. Thank you all for tuning into our shows, for being a part of the chat. Obviously a small base right now, but it's awesome to see the support, and we thank you guys for tuning in and listening to our thoughts on everything motocross and our points of view from everything in the sport. Because like he said, he's out there on the floor. If I'm at the races, I'm in the press box or out somewhere watching, or even when I'm at home, we all have different views and we're taking things in differently. So this show really helps us get a sense for some of the things that we see, and then some things we see together, some things we're completely different on. And like Gavin earlier showing the video of Drew Adams and Dylan Schwartz, I had no idea that crash even happened. I knew
Yeah.
Adams went down at some point, but didn't know what happened. And it's been a lot of fun to do these shows, and I'm stoked to continue being a part of it. And if you like these ones, I hope you join us the rest of the off season if we have some more, but definitely join us in January and tell a friend about our show and get them interested.
Yeah, thanks, Trey, again for being here. You guys, please check out his stuff. It's great. He's probably saving the juicy info for his own show. So, but maybe one day he'll have me on his show. We'll collab. But we want to get more people involved. Like I said, we'll probably have some more media people on this show as well as guests. Like I just want to, and more people within the industry. Maybe you guys can let me know who you want to hear from. I have pretty good relations with a lot of people already. And we're still building a lot of those relationships, and we just kind of lean on the brand a little bit to get some of those connections in here to get people in, and we're excited. We're at your disposal. We'll get those people in here, and we'll hang out with them, and you guys can leave chats for them, and we'll just make it a good time. So yeah, thank you guys again for joining our show. And please check us out. Check out the Instagram if you haven't already. TWMX.com, DOT like spelled out. On Instagram, my personal is Gavin Ayala, GavenAyala. Yeah, thank you guys for joining us. We will have some shows on the off season. To make it clear one more time, this is definitely like meant to be like a test. These first 3 weekends was a test. I wanted to see what this was like. I wanted to see the response from you guys. I'm happy to say that I've loved it so far. You guys, I love seeing the comments come in. I love making everyone a part of this. Doing something different. Like I said, I believe this is different than anyone else in the industry. There's a lot of different ways people are doing things, and I think it's great. The more the better. But I do want to stand out a little bit different and a little bit more of an interactive experience with our interactive background, our interactive chat, and just our interactive conversations, and not pre-recorded. We're just going to wing it and say whatever happens, happens. And kind of go for it that way. But a lot of fun. Thank you guys for coming on. And we will see you soon. I will definitely be on again. So just keep an eye out for the notification, and we'll do something go on Instagram too. Keep following us, because we'll probably put a little link that says, hey, we're going live tonight. But if it's going to be anytime, it's going to be on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. So that's what we're looking at. But thanks again, you guys, for joining us tonight. We're going to go ahead and call it. It's been a great show, great discussing. I think we've covered everything that I can think of. I mean, probably sure I'll think of something here and there randomly, but yeah, that was a wild one. that was a wild one. But thank you guys for joining. So we will talk to you guys later. Trey, peace out. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Maybe we'll see each other next week. We'll go from there. All right, guys.